Good evening. Welcome back. It is Thursday, April 20th, 2023. We have a couple of birthdays and some events that happen on this date. So we'll jump right into those events really quickly here. On this date, 1986, NASCAR Cup Series race at North Wilkesboro. Dale Earnhardt won, and that was his second win in a row. He was the first repeat winner of the season. That was not the big event. The big event of the day was Willie T. Ribbs made his first NASCAR start driving for Dyard, car number 30. Was not really an eventful day. He had a couple spins. He just kind of did like a rookie did and had a rough day. But mind you, the Dyard team, this was not the championship-winning Dyard team. This was literally a patchwork Dyard team that nobody could have made successful. So I kind of feel bad that Willie was thrown into the situation. And even in his documentary, he talked about how the engines were blowing up and the cars just weren't, the nuts and bolts and pieces falling off of it. So 3 years prior, this was a championship-winning organization. By 1986, it is less than a shell of its former self, and anybody that hopped in a Dyard car in 1986 did not have very good luck at all. 1998 on this date, Bobby Hamilton wins at Martinsville for Morgan McClure Racing. This would be Bobby's third career win, but it would be the final win for the once dominant Morgan McClure Kodak car. And this was, 3 Daytona 500 wins, several other wins at Talladega and Daytona, Bristol, road courses. They were a strong car when Ernie and Sterling drove it. Then they just kind of started tapering off. Bobby got him a win at Martinsville. Definitely a feel-good win there. But, unfortunately, both car and driver wouldn't have much success. Bobby did go on to be a Truck Series champion and have a win in 2001 at Talladega with Andy Petrie Racing. But this was pretty much the last bright blast of sunshine for the 4 team. On this date in 2002 in the Aaron's 312 at Talladega, that was the race that had that crazy crash with about 30 cars in it. Tim Fedewa was getting ready to park his car in a lap or two prior to this. If this wreck wouldn't happen, Tim Fedewa was parking his car, start and park. This wreck happens. He's in turn 1 when this wreck happens on the backstretch, and he's able to slow down enough and snake through all the pieces and debris and etc. And as the story goes, he ended up having, I believe, a 4th place finish in this car that wasn't supposed to run more than 15-20 laps. So, bad for everybody else, good for Tim Fedewa and that team. I can't even remember what the team was, if it was a Nemechek team or whatever, whoever it was. And on this date in 2008 at Twin Ring Motegi, Danica Patrick wins her only IndyCar race. I've even said it before, it was a split field, it was a short field, and it was a fuel mileage win. So take those into consideration, as Danica never really had a lot of other strong runs. A couple times at Indy, she had good strong runs, but she was just never consistently up front, much like her teammates would be during this era. So anyway, with our birthdays, I've only got cards for a couple of these, so we will start with the cardless ones. Born on this date in 1927, but he passed away in 2008. Formula One great Phil Hill. Don't have any cards of him, even in those legend sets and stuff, don't have anything there. We have 2 drivers born in the same year on this date, and kind of have similar paths. Mauricio Gugelmin, who drove in F1 and in IndyCar, and then also IndyCar turned part-time NASCAR driver Adrian Fernandez. Then also a little bit of a sad story on this date, born on this date in 1946, Gordon Smiley. Of course, he passed away in Indy in 1982 in that horrible, horrible qualifying crash. And you've all probably seen it on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, I don't recommend you go back and look at it if gory crashes are not your thing. It's a very vicious crash. I went to an asthma doctor years ago that worked at the track as a medic and so forth, and she gave me a lot more description of that wreck than what I probably wanted to hear at any given time in my life. But yeah, it was not a good wreck at all. So anyway, we have 2 birthdays today. We're going to start off in 1971. Part-time ARCA, part-time Cup Series driver. For a minute, he was Bill Elliott's protege during the mid-90s. Mr. Ron Barfield. So we have a 97 Ultra. I believe that's 97. 97 Ultra Update and the Press Pass 99. This was when he was driving, I believe, for Ricky Craven's team. New Holland, of course, is a tractor dealership type thing, or a tractor outfit. Used to be one near me, but then they closed it down and became something else. I don't know if they're still in business or not. And I know he ran a Brickyard 400, but I can't remember which one it was. It was somewhere in this era, but obviously the 94, he was protege of Bill Elliott. And for whatever reason, things just didn't work out. Then born on this date in 1968, former Cup Series crew chief for both Burtons, Jeff, and then later Ward. I believe he won the Daytona 500 with Ward. Had a lot of great runs with Jeff Burton, Mr. Frankie Stoddard. So we have, a couple base and a parallel here. And then the wheels card. So we don't have a lot of cards to show you today, but we had a lot of events, I felt. There are a lot of strong events, a lot of really cool events. But just didn't have a lot of cards of the people that were celebrating birthdays today. So happy birthday to all of them. Of course, there's a couple that are no longer with us, so hopefully their friends and family are remembering them on this day. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you come back tomorrow. Maybe we'll rip something. Well, we should rip something because yesterday was earlier today was a flea market video. So we'll probably need to rip something. I'll find something in here for us to rip. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.